Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Dan Richard Fishing, and today I'm not fishing. I'm not in the boat. Again, because Mother Nature once again decided to throw 50-knot winds at us and torrential downpours and all that good stuff that makes fishing on the St. Lawrence completely unpredictable and unproductive. So today we're going to do a little video about knot tying again. Today I'm going to show you guys how I tie my braid to my fluorocarbon leader material. Okay, so I pretty much use braid on all of my reels. I'm not a fan of using fluorocarbon completely spooled on a reel, but I do use the leader material. So I'm going to show you guys how I do this using what's called an Alberto knot.
Alberto, you do have style.
So the Alberto knot is the knot that I use. So let's get into this. I'm going to show you guys how to tie it. We're going to kind of just I'm going to use some exaggerated size line here so you can check it out. So I'm going to show you how to tie it, and stick around after we're done tying it up. And I'm just going to talk about how I use it, why I like to use it versus other knots, things like that. Just some final notes, okay? So let's get to tying. But of course, don't forget, just before we get started, you gotta hit that like button, okay? If you appreciate this kind of content, this video, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and of course, hit the bell notification. That way you know every time I do one of these videos, okay? Now we'll go tie. Okay guys, first things first, your fluorocarbon leader. So I like to take about a 5-foot length, anywhere between 6 and 5 feet is fine. So let's go ahead and get a piece of that. Now do bear in mind for this video, I'm going to use some fairly thick braid and thick fluorocarbon, and I'm hoping with this blue background you guys can see the line really well. And but normally I'll use maybe 10, 12 pound leader, 15 pound, right up to 20 pound depending on what I'm targeting. So if I'm going to be going after where there's pike and bass and that sort of thing, but I'm targeting bass, but I know pike are in there, I'll go right up to a 20 pound leader. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our tag end here and give yourself about 5 inches of tag. And you're going to go ahead and create a loop like this. And you want the bottom of the tag running along the bottom here. So tag end along the bottom. So we've got our loop pinched here. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the braid through it that way. Okay, so we're going that way through it, through the bottom. And then you're going to want to put through about 8 inches of tag. So you can see I've got probably a bit more, yeah, about 8 inches of tag here. Okay. And then you're going to bring it back towards you and over the loop. So you can see how I've got that set up. And you're going to go ahead and do that 7 times. So there's 1, 2, 3. And you can pull on it, pull it this way out more, stretch out the loops if you want, just to give it more room to move. 4, 5, 6. You see how I'm pulling it out to give myself more room. Now this is big, heavy braid, so it's a bit tougher. But the key is to keep moving outwards, but also to make sure your loop is here. You don't want to turn your loop upside down or anything like that. It's going to mess up your knot when you go to pull it tight, okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to bring it back around. So now we've been twisting it this way. Now we're going to bring it back towards the front of the loop. And we're going to lay it in between the loops we already made. So we did 7 that way. We're going to do 7 coming back, okay? So we're going to pinch it off right here. So you can see I'm pinching it right where the braid finishes, and we're going to do 1, 2, and we can continue to pinch it upwards, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now here's where it's very important. You've got to bring the loop back towards the front at the top, okay? So you can see I'm finishing my loop here at the top. So it started at the bottom down here, but I'm going to finish it at the top, and I'm going to bring it from the back to the front, poke it through, and then we've got it set up like this, okay? So you can see how that's set up. So both of them now, both the loops are coming out this way through the front. So both are going towards the back. And it's very important because if you don't, and you go to pull the knot tight, it's going to come all apart. And it's because you didn't come out the same way you came in, if that makes any sense. All right, so that gives you a look. So you've got kind of like a chain going on here, and then you've got your loops coming out. So now we're going to moisten the entire knot to reduce friction and damage to the fluoro. Okay, so I just put a little bit so it's not too gnarly. And then you're just going to go ahead and grab it by these 2 pieces and start pulling. Now eventually it's going to get real tight. So then what I'll do is I'll grab the line side, I'll leave the tag end there, and I'm just going to pull it straight. And you can see how the whole thing is just coming together. And then grab the main leader material and the main line. So you leave the 2 tag ends and pull it nice and tight. And then you're going to be left with this perfect little Alberto knot, just like that. The beauty of this knot is the harder the line gets pulled, the tighter the knot becomes. So it will never unravel, it just gets tighter. For the tag end of the braid, you don't have to get too close. Okay, that's fine. What's key is the tag end of the fluorocarbon. This is what's important. You need to cut this tag end as close to the knot as possible. So I prefer to use clippers instead of scissors, and I will get in there real close as possible, and cut it. And then ideally you have almost no tag. Now it's hard for me to do it and film at the same time, but there should be almost no tag sticking out of there. And the reason why is because when you're casting it, the line is going to be going this way when you're casting. So you don't want any tag end here or it'll get caught on your rod as it's coming out. It'll hit those guides. So you want to reduce that tag end as much as possible to avoid it getting caught on the guides, and that way you get a nice long clean cast. And there you have it, guys. The Alberto knot. That's all there is to it. The perfect knot for joining braid to fluorocarbon. And just like that, guys, you've got your beautiful Alberto knot. And the reason why I love this knot is because it's very small. So unlike using a uni to uni knot or other knots that create quite a large knot, you're gonna find you're gonna have issues getting them through the micro guide, whereas an Alberto knot, you will never have this issue. It'll pass through the guides, no problem, as long as you've tied it properly. It's also an extremely strong knot. It is the knot that will break pretty much last. So I've actually had my Palomar knots break off way before the Alberto knot gives out. So really strong knot as well. Very slim, the smallest profile that I've ever seen actually. So that is why I prefer to use it above all other knots. I also use this on pretty much all of my setups, okay? So anything that isn't straight braid, so like a frog rod, a punching rig, or if I'm in dirty water and I don't care, I'm just ready to braid. But I will use this pretty much on anything else, especially when I'm in the St. Lawrence, you know, we're fighting off zebra mussels and all that good stuff. You want that abrasion resistance. That's actually why my favorite brand is Abrazx. That's this guy from Seaguar. So I do use Abrazx. It is my favorite one. It seems to be the most resistance against abrasion, lasts a long time. I don't have to retie it as often, so this is pretty much the product I go for. So I'll pretty much use this on spinnerbaits, jigs, I mean, you name it, I'll throw this on there. About the only thing that I will not combine braid and fluorocarbon leader with is smaller crankbaits with the smaller treble hooks. I will pretty much always use mono for that. I'm still kind of old school. I prefer that stretch. But if you do use braid, which you can, just make sure you loosen that drag up. You don't want a tight drag when you're using treble hooks, so you're just gonna rip that right out of the fish's mouth every time. So do reduce it, and you can use this technique as well. I just prefer the mono. I feel like I'm pulling it a lot less. I like to winch that drag down quite a bit, so having that extra stretch helps me out quite a bit, just because I'm an idiot and I don't know how to use treble hooks properly. So guys, that's pretty much it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, I invite you to leave me a comment down below and let me know your feedback on the video. What are your preferred knots? How do you prefer to join your braid to your fluorocarbon, or do you have another knot that you prefer to use just overall? Whatever. If you want to just say hi, ask a question, all that good stuff. I love getting your comments and I try and respond as much as I can. So guys, thank you so much again. As always, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. Don't forget, like, subscribe, bell notification, you know the drill, and we'll see you guys on the next video, okay? Peace.